select inactive, click on save button, the item will get inactivated, right? Just a minute. Okay, so I'll show you this components as well, no worries. So just studying heading by headings first of all. So item class is there, item is there. Now a very important point to consider: if you have inactivated the item also, but the item number is taken, that item number cannot be taken once again, because Oracle do standpoint considering this way that inactivated items are not deleted from the environment. It are still present in the environment, because in moving future you might activate it, right? So item number which is taken will not be deactivated, right? It cannot be used once again. If you are in still inactivating the item, it does not mean the item number can be deactivated, right? Similarly, the word which we are seeing that initially, the what is the item lifecycle phase? What are the different phases which can we do? So you have a setup for it. Suppose you want to define mobile industry, it's a development phase. We are in manufacturing right now. We'll be publishing it. We will be in a testing phase right now. Different phases which you wanted, right? This is really important for an organization to track, because what is the current status of their item, how they are delivered. They can have 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 30 lakh of items. To track each of this item, you need to have a track of it. What is the current phase of that item? Generally, what companies do it go in lot and serial basis, right? A lot has been created of this particular item. You are be creating a life cycle phase for that. Like it should be in design, currently in manufacturing, testing phase, different types of phases, right? Now, user item type, is it's a finished good, it's not a finished good, different types of user are available. The similar one which we are seeing yesterday, that it's a freight based, inventory type based, what is for contracts for consulting, what is a different user item type for this. Similarly, we have a revision field also. Just remember in this word is Oracle always follows alphabetical revision numbers here right now, right? You can create a revision out of it, but here remember what was happening in EBS. Generally, EBS also follows the same only, but there was a debate here also that can the revision go in 0102 consider, because what happens is at the purchase order level and sales order level, we generally when create a revision, a change order number 2 3, that gets that is a numeric one, but item has been always going with revision as ABC. There's a reason around it also, that they follow a similar convention out here. In that way, if you can see, the creation to it is also there, right? These are the fields available, and the user particular creating, right? Now what happens in the approval state is what I can define it in this way, that no, I do not want a person to directly create an order and auto approve it. It should go for an approval to higher management. Higher management should review that particular item, and once the item is reviewed by the higher management, they only we can define it, right? So this is regarding the approval status. Consider this reason I wanted to explain line by line is that what are the importance of the field, what are editable from an inventory point standpoint, and what are not editable, right? Until unless, if you can see, only the free fields are editable here, right? You can change the description, change the item status, uh, define a package type out of it. This fields are editable, but item number once taken will not be editable. That has been already taken in the system, right? Apart from this, if I can scroll down, if you can see, this is an overview section where you can see overall respective details around it, right? This we have already gone last time, that what is primary of unit of measure, what is the secondary unit of measure dependently, right? And if I go to specification, we have sales order specification, we have manufacturing specification, we have service specification dependently, right? What are the physical attribute, what is the unit you want to select, if it's related to weight, what is the volume correspondingly, different types of details are available. Basically this section, if you see, the initially when I go to specification, it will show you physical attribute related to that. Correspondingly, when I click for you as an inventory basis, so what are the attributes related to inventory? Is it an inventory item? No. Correspondingly, if you see it's a stock item, then you can define it, right? If it's a lot control, if it's a serial control, what to do it. Now if defining in a lot, what will be the starting preface, what will be the starting number for it? If you are defining it a lot in this way, you can start, okay, this lot should start with 101, this particular lot should start with 102. These are the attributes which are available here. Similarly, this is really important, how sales and order management considered from SCM standpoint. This is a section which is really important for us, right? Because here what is defined, basically attacks us, okay, this will be available for purchase orders, not for sales order, right? In that way. So is this item shippable or not shippable? If it is not shippable, it will not be occurring in your pick release cycle of sales order. Similarly, if it is a customer order or it's directly a customer order or not, then you can define it as yes or no here, right? This components are available. Now if this item is returnable is not checked as no, then the RMA process cannot be started for it, right? Return order cannot be created. So these components are really important for our sales order management point of view. What are the configuration done for this particular item under the sales order management is really, really important. For sales order, we have this section, and if I go to purchasing, this will be related to your PO orders. If you can see this item, can it be purchased? Yes or no flag is there. User approved supplier, yes, automatically you can choose it. If I want a negotiation to start on this, then I have the checkbox. Now a very important point to consider here is all these checkboxes, all the fields which you see are not a compulsory fields. They are not in that sense that you have to define them, right? Automatically whenever you are creating an item, it goes for what does Oracle does it checks all the checkboxes is yes, okay, that what it does, it will be available for purchasing also, it will be available for sales order also, right? In that case, you know, okay, this is the one which I want to yes or no, that you can do, right? So all these checkboxes if you see are nothing but free fields right now for you. You can do it and go and edit it, right? It's not that you cannot change it right now, right? But if you can see, this are related to receiving also, pricing also, over receive quality control also. What we mean by receive routing, what is the path you wanted to follow? Is it the standard receive? It's a direct receive, manufacturing receive, different types of component. Reason I wanted to bring you into your screen is and just show you two main components here. That is, if we are related to SCM, we have two sections in an item which are really corresponding to us. One is purchasing and other one is sales order management. Consider this way, sales order management is particularly for the sales order. Purchasing is completely related to for your purchase order actually. And if you are defining planning also, which we'll study when we'll define planning, we have the planning section also. What type of planning you do? You look for MTP planning, you look for MRP planning, what is the minimum planning which you do, mostly related to costing management basically. But just an overview for you that what are the different components for dealing with. I'll just give you a tip here. Whenever you face any issue for sales order and purchase order, right, look for two things to debug an issue from item point of view. If you get item is there's an issue with an item when you are creating a particular sales order, purchase order, look for two things. Is the item active or inactive? First thing. Next, if you're creating a sales order, just go to sales order management, check all the flags. If you're getting an item issue, okay, this all the checks related to this sales order is perfect or not in that sense. If you are going for the purchase order, check for purchasing flags. All the components which are defined in this will be important to you, right? As from a SCM standpoint, I'm saying sales order management and purchase. So you have this links to available sales order management, purchasing beside you, right? This is what we define as for item, what are the different components beside it, right? Let me take you to one more configuration. Let's go to manage unit of measure. I'll show you the path once again. That will be. So remember, now we are dealing with units of measure and item, right? This is completely coming under inventory management. So just write down in your copy, notepad plus where possible. Earlier we saw procurement, we saw about order management, saw about financial, right, where the procurement setups are done. Now this is related to completely to the PDH, correct? So path remains the same. Go to particular user. Once again I'll show you. Go to setup and maintenance. Under this, whenever you'll open, as we are relating to PDH, we have product management as a setup task. Select product management. So this different functional area will be coming under you. As we are dealing with items, select items and select all tasks. So what are the different tasks related to an item? What is the life cycle phases you want, what are the product and child value set which you want, what is the unit of measure you wanted to define, right? In that way. Let me show you once again so that it like becomes easy for you to identification. Click on this, go to setup and maintenance. So I'm showing basically what are the, right now we were studying about item classes, we were studying about unit of measure, where the setups are done basically for you, right? So I'm going to setup and maintenance. Under this setup, select product management. Remember, all the setup related to an item will fall under product management. As word, it is very much clear, product basically related to an item. Under this, if you see, this item is there. Now some key points to understand. If you see this one which are marked in star are mandatory setup which need to be done when are you going with product management. Similarly, when we saw it for procurement, we also saw some of the setups are really key important that has to be set up basically, right? Now here I go to item and I select manage unit of measure. So manage unit of measure is a task which helps you to create an item, right? Let us create an item unit of measure basically. You have to give it a code. Let's see, I create one of as for each only. Let's create it EAC. Actually, EA would have been already taken by someone, so I'm typing EAC. Let it be each class. Just for time being, I'll select area as one of this. You can also end it a particular thing. So this will be 06, 20. Just showing you the setup where how the unit of measure are getting set up. Done. Save. Now this will be available in the system. Save and close. Let's just go and once again search them out. See, this is the one, right? This is available. I'll take a pause here, guys. If anyone has any queries, this is a normal setup, an easy one, but I'll take a halt here, guys. If anyone has any doubt, any question, please go ahead. So I wanted to show you how the unit of measure gets set up and how they can be referred. So when you'll be creating an item, you can definitely refer this particular code. Actually, there are any doubt, any queries, guys, please go ahead. So remember 2 points basically. Where do we set up the UM? That is really key to understand, right? I'll once again iterate for you. Setup and maintenance. Go to product management. The setup will be that. The functional area where the unit of measure and item class reside is, select the item. Under that, you have manage unit measure, manage unit item class, right? Here you can define the item class and the unit of measure. To define a unit of measure, click on manage unit of measure. You have a plus icon here available here. Just click on this. Type all the details. If you see end date is not mandatory, it depends upon you. So if you see I have given an end date, so once this day gets over, after that particular unit of measure will not get used, right? When I go to search and create an item, that unit of measure will not come, right? But are we clear till this point, guys? Any issues, any doubt, please feel free. These are easy concepts, but really important to understand from inventory management point of view. Actually, that where unit of measure goes and where you can identify the things. Now, suppose you get an error while you are creating a purchase order that the unit of measure which was referred earlier was not available, right? Because what has happened, someone has deleted it. If you see here, there's an option available. You can select a unit of measure, delete it, right? Delete option is available. So you can go to this particular section. Okay, identify, oh, this particular unit of measure has been defined. So you can ask the PDH person, oh, please create this unit of measure because we have to create purchase order out of it. So there's a dependency on this also. So understanding inventory management is really important to get forward with the product, this procurement thing and sales order management, right? I'll take a pause here, guys. Anyone has any doubt, any queries, please feel free. Are we good till this point, guys?
No, dear.
Hari, Sajil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Guru.
Okay, perfect. Gargia, Bhaskar, any doubt, guys?
No, we are clear.
No,
Okay.
Varun, I'm good. Yeah.
It's an easy concept, but I'll just read it. I'll frankly say this is a really, really easy concept. You must have been seeing unit of measure in EBS also. But where to define and to know the area is really important actually. I'll tell you, when we have live project also now, we never do unit of measure setup actually. This are completely comes under as a SCM standpoint. I'm saying as from SCM standpoint, this are something which are done by PDS team because we have a dedicated PDS team for that, right? What happens is having a dedicated PDH team or inventory people is really important because inventory is something which by phases depends a lot, right? When you're suppose we all know that in projects we have mock 1, mock 2, mock 3, SIT, UAT, right? And each phases they will be creating some new items. So getting the sheet from the client, okay, these are the new item, please configure that. Then once we configure them, unit of measure, you need to take the approval from the client, okay, this a set of unit of measure you have. If they say no, after some time we have created one more unit of measure, then you have to sync that back, right? From a NCM standpoint becomes really tough, right? So we generally just, if you have been going to a live project also, we generally have a dedicated team from PDS basically, which take care of all the inventory setup and the things. And also remember, whenever conversion start, like when you are going from 11i to Fusion or from R12 to Fusion, item setup is known as the primary setup actually. Why? Because until items are set up, you can't create a sales order and purchase order, right? So step by step what happens is, let me show you this also. Suppose if a client is going from, sorry, EBS R12 to Fusion, right? Consider this from a SCM standpoint, right? So what are the main setups which need to be done, right? Dependently, department, jobs, location are dependent setup basically. This has to be individually done, but items become a key setup basically from a SCM standpoint, right? Items and suppliers. So this conversions has to be done at primary level. After this, we come with agreement, purchase order, and different components, right? But items and suppliers are really, really important. So always remember these two things, that whenever you are going from a particular conversion, item setup and supplier setups are the key setups which need to be done, right? These are really, really important for this. Until items are set up as correctly, all the conversion, when you are doing any, you are creating agreement, you are creating purchase order, will definitely get filled, because items setup has to be done completely fine. And I'll tell you what happens is, this was a live example also in one of the project. uh, they were having around, I'll say 1 lakh to 2 lakhs item which was available in the setup, right? Now if you're creating a file, uh, uploading this file for creating an item, it becomes really tough. So we created an RPA, that is a bot which we created. That bot was doing is, what we can say it more easily, in a robot, which basically what that does is that automate, we have that concept, RPAs in the market, UiPath is available. You can, by coding, what you does it automatically start the process of creating an item in the system. But that is, you have to monitor that process, because that is still not in the market very much prevalent, right? Because each item setup depends, very much important, key components beside it, right? So what we created, but what that bot was doing is, uh, processing a item. What that boss does, it will not differentiate between item, right? We created it for a set of item, and ultimately we face an issue that that bot created, around 80,000 item in a wrong way, because it configured all the 80,000, only the item number was different, but rest all the fields were very much same, right? So it was really difficult us to revert the batch. So we were waiting for the item, this instance to get refreshed, so then we can recreate the items once again. So that was a really tough challenge which we faced. As I'll say, RPA is in the market right now, but it's really not that much furnished right now. RPA is only going for value sets, that easy setups which you can do, DFF setups, that is fine with you. But this key setups, item suppliers, this setups has to be done in a very, like, sorry, item conversion, supplier conversion, RPA is not that much prevalent in the market right now, right? So whenever you see a situation and if the client is asking for go for RPA for creating the items, say definitely no to him. They said definitely no to him. No, that is not there. We'll do it manually, or we'll do it practically through FBDI. FBDI is fine, because if you have done anything, you can change it out of it, right? But what happens with RPA board, it starts a process, does not keeps an hold, right? It start for 10,000, 12,000. Obviously RPA also you can stop, but it was really tough to track that, because 90,000 of our item were in a very bad shape actually, and 90,000 is a big amount, right? Now double work starts for you. Okay, go to each item, check for this particular item. So I had to keep a team of around 15 people to track that item. That happened. Reason we got for RPA is, even it was bad from my side, that because I wanted to see how RPA does, and is it like am I able to make the client requirement in a very good way. So then I was also thinking that, okay, if they are saying RPA, if my team is also available for RPA, let's give it a try out of it. And if that is happening, my project timeline will be getting finished quite earlier. But that created an havoc. Luckily, what it was do it, but what we do it, we started it in a mock tool, like a second mock only, right? Uh, Definitely, I'll not prefer it to go with RPA. RPA is still in the market, but it has to be prevalent. Like it has to still glorify a lot actually. Reason about coming for RPA is because from a considered from a configuration standpoint also, robotics is coming quite in the market. Even Fusion is getting impacted with that, right? So even clients are demanding, can we have RPA? Can we do this thing? Can we have this thing, right? So to be prevalent with the markets, guys, do study RPA also. I'll definitely prefer. This is just a sidetrack from this particular course. From SCM functional standpoint also, I'm saying, and as well from a technical standpoint also, right? How you create a bot is really really important. That bot is getting, because now digitization, robotics is getting much prevalent in the market, right? You know about the data analytics, so many things are going in the market. So they are coming up with this concept. RPA is still going on. We had created value set actually, and we created DFF out of, we created a bot. Bot is nothing, it's not a different a robot or complete man-made robot in that way. It's just a programmatic bot which we create, and that bot can be used for creating a well set DFF. But generally we do not prefer them to go with the this type of setups, key setups, because each and every field has to be set up, right? So that bot configuration has not been that much prevalent right now in the market. But just for your knowledge, I wanted to explain that, right? uh, Consider those 2 point, that item setup is item conversion, and how the items are set up is really pretty important for your SCM standpoint, right? I'll take a halt here, guys. If anyone has any doubt regarding this setup, I'll re-explain you, re-push that thing back. Please let me know. I'll take a halt here, guys. Anyone has any queries, any doubt? Are we clear till this point, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Now let me just cancel it and show you item class. That's our last concept of our today's day. Look, you have manage item class. If you can see here, let's understand each other. Root item class is nothing but Oracle's parent item class, which is provided. You cannot delete a root item class in the system. This is Oracle standard provided, right? All the items which you want to create, or item class which you can create, will be creating under as root item class. You can definitely define your item class separately out of root item class. That is also possible. But generally what clients and we do is we have root item class available from Oracle, and we generally create subclasses out of it. If you can see here, if I can just scroll down for you, automotive, commercial cloud, documentation, finance items, similarly food and beverages item, fitting and fastener items, all these are the classes basically. If I can drill down more for you, it also has subclasses independently. You can definitely define, basically root item class will be a primary class. Under that you have secondary class as automotive, and under that you have multiple class. This hierarchy you can maintain. That really depends upon the type of organization you are working. But to be a tip here and a personal experience, I'll say is, I generally prefer creating a root item class which is available from Oracle. Create the item classes beside that only. Reason I'll tell you, because when you go with the conversion, right, whenever you want to refer an item, right, it will be really easy. You know, okay, this item will be definitely in the root item class. It will not be beside that, right? It becomes really easy. But we had a requirement with recently, one of the client was that no, we do not want root item class. We are very much into confidential data. Our data should not be that the top management should able to see this under root item class. Anyone is coming who can see the items in root item class. No, we definitely, what we want is create 3 or 4 different parent classes. Now under that parent classes we'll have multiple classes. So that is also possible. Not a it's not a by far rule that you should always create the item class within the root item class. It's not a rule actually. It's nothing but Oracle rule also that you need to create uh, a subclass in the root item class only. But remember, in this way, root item class is something which is provided by Oracle by default. Whenever you go, right now you see an instance which has already been used, so you have multiple classes. But when you get a fresh instance, right, only root item class folder will be available in that case. Right? So root item class can have multiple subclasses beside it, which you see right now in the same: automotive, commercial cloud, documentation. Depends upon the client. You can have your own root item class as well, but generally we do not prefer it. Reason being, let Oracle also handle something, because that will be easy to identify. That if you want to track a particular item, if you do not know, okay, this class was there or not particularly, you know definitely that item will be available in the root item class, right? So you can have that, and automatically whenever an item is getting created, it can be created in a subclass and it will be referring a root item class. So you can search in the class also that, okay, this item is there or not, right? Similarly, the things which we are going for also, if you could just click on this plus icon, you can type the item name. Now, if you see here, as I'm selecting here, right? Right now, when I selected under the root item class, right? Once again, I'll show you. Now, this, sorry. When I'm under root item class, when I click on plus sign, parent item class has already come, right? In this way. Similarly, the one which you are selecting is getting copied as parent item class. Automotive, correct? Now, similarly, if I select root item class, just see my arrow actually, right? It's this line is getting shaded as blue. Just a bit. Right. So if you can see, parent item class is root item class, and beside that, right? Now, if you see, no, this is not correct. Let me close this tree. Click on add. I do not want root item class. So now if you see, you are creating your own class. Let's create it in this way. Unogeeks class. Let's create sample class. Attribute item class ID is required. Item class ID. Okay, I'll just check for this. Well, it's more of related to ID setup, which is there. Okay. Well, let's set up it beside item class. Check this file. So it will create a sample one class under automotive, right? I'll check for that item. It's not an attribute item right now, right? So if you can see, sample one is available, right? So that you can refer. So we are clear with two setups basically. If what is how to set up item classes for you and how to set up for you, right? Anyone has any doubt, any queries, guys? Please feel free forward. Are we clear till this point, guys? Sajal, Gargya, Hari, any doubt? Bhaskar, Akshay, please feel free.
No, Varun, I'm good, thank you.
Akshay, are we good from your end?
Yeah, yes. Varun, maybe internal name should be saved with underscore, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking actually. But ID is different actually. It's been already taken sample one, so I have to deactivate that particular ID and create one more for you.
Oh,
And that deactivation has to come from the what I have to do is I have to delete all the items which are already created under that item class. So if I had to check if it's 5,000, 6,000, I'll run a program, delete all the items backend, and until unless if there's a transaction done on it, and then we can set up it up in that way actually.
okay.
Yeah. Any doubt, Hari, Bhaskar, Karya?
No, I'm good. Varun.
Clear, Varun.
Okay, perfect. So that's it from my end, guys. Today main agenda was to show you manage item class, manage So we are clear till this point. Now we have stepped into inventory management. Next step is what we are getting up is to create an item. We'll create an item for you out of it. Add components, add different attributes. So when we'll create an item, we'll have a practical session also when I'll ask you guys also create an item side by side. So that will be helpful to you to know, okay, how the difference, how an item gets created, right? These are the main interrelated topics to an item, right? Item class, right? If you know this thing, you're perfectly fine. In that case, you know, okay, this particular item is related to this class. What is the being used, right? Once that is done, we'll next create what is the creating an item and starting to create what are the different components. I'll ask one of the person to know, no, keep it as non-stock item. Person has to keep it as stock item. We'll take a practical example from a live project and start working on that, right? So once that is done, you are completely with the inventory management. Okay, these are the setups. We'll study that components, and next step which will be going is like this week, considered in this way that till Wednesday or Thursday we'll start with the uh, till Wednesday we'll complete the inventory management basically, and from Thursday we basically be starting with the procurement thing, right? So this two session which we are following up. Once you have the practical thing, also you know to identify. Okay, this is the way I can create the item class. This is the way which I can create the actually, right? So these are really important right now. So till Wednesday or Thursday, we'll complete the inventory management basically, because now coming session are more of a practical session for us, right? Once we give a practical try, okay, this is the way we create an item. This is the way we create an item class will be helpful for you. Going with the navigation from understand it from the PDS navigation as well, right? So that will be our main agenda. Till Wednesday, Thursday, we'll cover this inventory management. Then from Friday, if you see, we get time until unless from Friday we'll start with the procurement thing, right? So procurement will be is a very vast topic. Will take a huge amount of time, but inventory management base needs to be really clear, right? We are doing item class, Today I've shown you in my screen. Tomorrow what we'll do, you guys will give a try. So that will be easy for identification. Correct? Okay, so I'll take a pause here, guys. I'll buy you this 25 minutes. If until unless anyone has any doubt, I think we are good to stop here, right?
So, Varun, one question: like,
Yeah.
do we have a capability to store the product designs also on the PDH, or else do we need to have another agile
So is it a product design you meant to say life cycle phase of that particular?
life cycle phase? Generally, we get the product attributes, right? But the
Mhm.
design of the product,
No, no, no.
like
That
in agile, I can have the design of the product also, right?
what are the different component? What are the categories? Correct in that way.
Yeah, that is one
That
thing,
is
and
possible.
uh,
Possible. That is possible. So you have that kind of. We'll see it tomorrow also. That the relationship which you see, right? Categories you see. What are the different components? This will be helpful when you're creating the work order also out of it. Uh, I just lost Bhaskar, I guess. Guys, is my voice audible?
Yeah, Varun.
Okay. No worries, Haris. No worries. It's fine. Oh, so you're traveling to India?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
This
great.
Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday.
Okay, okay. No, no worries, Hari. No worries. We
Yeah,
have the session
yeah,
uploaded also. You can have it. Just and
got it.
please feel free if you have any doubt, any queries. Okay, that will be
Yeah,
fine.
sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think I just lost Bhaskar actually. Okay, no worries. He'll connect with me no in another session. No worries. Are you fine, guys, till this point? Anyone and any queries? I'll connect with him in a different session actually. Tomorrow we can connect. Anyone has any queries? Hari, Akshay, Gargya, Sajal.
I'm good, Varun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Varun.
Okay,
Clear as of now, Varun.
okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining. I'll take a fall back here. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Varun.